Welcome to the Love That For Us podcast.
Come hang out with us as we explore a holistic approach to entrepreneurship, wellness, and navigating relationships in adulthood.
We'll be getting vulnerable about life and dishing the business expertise we've learned along the way, interviewing industry professionals,
All while you get your weekly dose of girl talk and heart to hearts. We're your hosts, Carissa Emiko,
and Ashton Brooke.
and this is the Love That For Us podcast. It's literally so gross to think about,
No, I know.
but like better out than in.
That's what they say.
No, literally better out than in. Welcome to the podcast. Ashton and I are doing a parasite cleanse.
We decided 20 minutes ago we're doing a parasite cleanse.
We just ordered our parasite cleanses. Look, a lot of people in our wellness community are doing parasite cleanses, and I am disgusted, to say the least. I'm one of those sick people that wants to look at all the pictures. I can't look away.
Sick.
Like I'm having people text me their pictures who aren't putting. Some of my friends are putting
my
it
gosh,
on the internet.
You're going the lengths.
Well, yeah, because that's inside of us, and so when I see it out, it's like.
I guess why I'm wondering why you want that is because once you've seen a couple pictures, you get the idea. You know what these look like. Why are you send me more?
Maybe that is because I haven't done a parasite cleanse yet. And so it's been something that where every time I see pictures, every time I see someone else doing it, it keeps inspiring more and more of okay, all of these people in my life are extremely healthy people who take care of themselves and take care of their bodies. And there are monsters coming out of their body. And that is so disgusting.
No, we're talking
it's so
about
disgusting.
This, and Chris is if you zoom in on the face of a parasite, it literally looks like a demon. There are little demon monsters in our body.
It literally looks like a demon with fangs and it looks like a scary monster from a movie.
I don't like that it has a face. I'm gonna be dead honest. Nothing with
I don't
a
like it
face
either.
should
live inside our bodies.
That's not a baby.
Right. Totally. Totally. So we're about to do that.
I guess we'll have to keep the podcast people, updated.
I'll make a reel on our podcast page of all the pictures. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. That we will get no followers from that.
No. But I am in a way desensitizing myself from I'm not really that grossed out talking about what they look like and what they are anymore where you are because I keep looking at the pictures.
No, I've seen them and I don't immediately swipe away, but you will use very descriptive words that make my stomach churn. And then you I think you get a little bit of pleasure out of seeing me squirm when you talk about
I don't.
this.
I actually really don't.
Okay.
No, I actually have never had that feeling.
You just have a smile on your face every time I'm squirming.
I think it's funny when you squirm, but that's not
humor is pleasure for people.
Yeah, but it's not the reason I'm sharing with you. I'm sharing with you because I'm excited and passionate about it, and I want to share it with you because I feel like you will also become excited and passionate about it. And the added bonus is watching you squirm, but that is not
it's a bonus.
It's a bonus. Okay, I guess it's a bonus. Yeah, it's funny. I think it's funny, but I'm not thinking I'm gonna say this word to watch Ashton squirm. I'm just describing it.
The other funny thing that happened when we were checking out is I was I really want a discount code because I bought 2 because Will I think is definitely going to be into it. I didn't really ask him. I was just
Did I tell you I bought 2 too? I also bought one for Tyler. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's a double date.
We should have the boys back
cleanse.
on and we can debrief the parasite cleanse.
Oh my God. Okay.
That'll be fun.
Let's do it.
So I was I have to spend double. And I was do we know anyone with a coupon code? I'm always trying to find a coupon code, save me at least the shipping cost or something. And she's no, I don't. She starts Googling it. I just start testing out things save 10, save 20. I type in welcome 10. It worked. It was 10% off. So this is just your friendly reminder. Always try the basic coupon codes when you're shopping because sometimes it works.
But do you not use the Google extension
Honey?
Called Honey?
I have in the past, but I need to get it again.
Literally everybody listening right now, Google Chrome extension honey. That's all you have to Google. And then you add it to your Google Chrome. If you don't use Google
I'm
Chrome,
going to do it
sorry.
now so I don't forget. Like, I'm just going to open the
And
tab.
it basically searches all the coupon codes that are on the internet and automatically applies them all for you and then gives you the best one. And it's like, I save so much money doing that. It is ridiculous how much money I save doing that. This website where we got our parasite cleanse from was kind of a random, like, small business website. So Honey didn't have any, but then I just Googled the name of it and coupon codes and I found a 20% off one for us. So
we did find 20%.
Why never, like, I get a thrill out of saving money with coupon codes. Like 100%. I feel like a hacky little hacker.
I think we would have thrived in the coupon era where, like, people cut them out of the flyers in their mailbox.
I did used to do that when I was a kid.
My mom did a ton. Yeah. Lots of coupons.
There was a funny show called Coupon Something.
Oh yeah.
It was like master couponers.
No,
coupon queen or coupon
insane couponers
show.
Or something.
Extreme couponing.
Extreme couponing.
It's called extreme couponing. Of course, it's on TLC where all of those, like, funny reality shows
would make a reality show out of people just couponing,
and people would just, like, it was like an issue, like they'd become obsessed with couponing. That's kind of me, but digitally, so it's a lot quicker.
Yeah,
so it's sitting there cutting out my
there's
newspaper.
less of a stigma.
Yeah. Okay, we're talking about comparison today.
Yeah.
So fun. We're talking about all types of comparison, how it's just like a human thing, how we can compare ourselves on social media, especially if you work in an industry that relies on social media, which what industry doesn't rely on social media now? Jobs, family, partnership, friendship, everything. Like, we're just breaking down comparison. What comes to mind in your life when you think of how you have dealt with comparison?
They're constantly, like, I just think it's a constant, not always a dark cloud over me, but I do absolutely see it in most seasons of my life. I find it one of the easiest things to do as a human and one of the hardest things to consciously overcome.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's so many things I can point to and say, like, I compared this at this point in my life. And, you know, when you're growing up, it's like, how are you growing up in comparison to everyone else? Like, how does your family work compared to your friends' families? How are your grades compared to your friends? Like, there's just constant, like, pressure that I think just simply stems from comparison in very, very early ages. And it's funny, like, seeing, you know, I feel like moms listening are always comparing, like, well, how is my baby, you know, developing compared to, like, what's the norm? Like, there's just so many things you're always, like, worried about when it comes to what's the social standard or the norm.
Right.
So I think it literally, you're born into a world of comparison because even as a baby, your parents are probably comparing you. And it's just true for me. Like, as a 30-year-old, I compare, you know, where I'm at in my life, where I'm at with business, family. I compare my relationship to other people's relationships. I compare my family to other people's families. So I guess you could say it's pretty prevalent. What about you?
So do you have like a main thing that you feel like?
Well, I've definitely shared, like, my timeline comparison issue that just looms over me. I don't know if there's, like, one thing that I feel super, super stuck on, because I think I've done enough looking inward to know what things have kept me from almost, like, enjoying my life because I'm stuck in comparison. Like, I don't think there's anything that I'm like, this is genuinely decreasing my quality of life, my day-to-day enjoyment, my mental well-being. So I don't know.
Mine are like, I could say I more consciously compare myself like body image wise to other women on the internet.
Yeah.
Is one where I like am aware of it, like, you know, like having like conscious thoughts about it, is body image and relationship. Like those are two that I catch often, is like, oh, her body's better than, comparing body types.
Yeah.
I will say it has been really refreshing that more and more women with curvy bodies are like showing their like getting ready, getting dressed. Like I love that so much that like normal bodies are being normalized, because I have noticed that it makes a solid like positive impact on my body image when I see lots of different types of bodies. Yeah. So I actually really love that. But yeah, I'll still like see someone else's body who works out all the time, or someone that's skinnier than me or whatever, and have like the thought of like, I wish I looked like that, or I wish this differently about myself. Yeah. I feel like another one, not that this happens all the time, but like I could see a reel about, or like a TikTok about somebody being like, if your husband doesn't do this, or like find you a good, you know, like found me a winner, and they're like serving them breakfast, and or like I saw a girl who like her husband literally brings her coffee to bed every single day, like literally every single day. She's like, there's not a day of our marriage he hasn't done that. And like Tyler is an incredible partner, and I could watch that and be like, Tyler sucks for like a second, you know, right. Like,
no, for sure. That's so relatable.
Think those are like the conscious ones where I'm like literally comparing my body to somebody else's body, literally comparing my relationship to somebody else's relationship, and thinking that mine is worse. Like, you know, thinking that my life is worse, this part of my life is worse or less than because of this random stranger I don't know who lives hundreds and thousands of miles away, and they made a 7-second piece of content, and all of a sudden I watched it and it's changing my reality. That's the gnarly reality of comparison with social media, is like you're just like swiping through, and you could see one post and just like your literal day is affected, or your outlook on your relationship. Like that's super intense, that is what social media can do.
What's the negative, like, what's the word when like a negative thought goes off? What's like the scientific, is there like a term for when, like, you know, when you think something positive and it's like a dopamine hit, like what's the negative one for that?
Oh, I don't know. Positive. I'm Googling. Well, it's not good.
I know.
I actually know that a lot of the dopamine hit that we get from social media when it comes to like when you post and like how is the post going to perform, and you're like, how many likes is it going to get? The dopamine hit actually comes from the section of time of like if it's finding out if it's going to happen, not actually like the positive or the negative result.
Interesting.
It's like a hit of like, what's the result going to be?
Anticipation.
Like the refresh of your post to see the likes, that's the dopamine hit, instead of like the seeing positive or negative. Yeah. Anyway, that was random.
Did Google not answer my question?
I couldn't find it quickly. That's but okay. I think that, yeah, like just social media being so big, and just our ability to interact with so many different people's thoughts and beliefs and energies in like literally a span of like what, like seconds. In 5 minutes of scrolling Instagram, how many people like have you consumed and come in contact with within 5 minutes? Some reels are like 8 seconds long. That is so many people in 5 minutes. It's so overstimulating. and you're just seeing, and obviously social media is more of a highlight reel, so you're just like seeing the best of 30 people's lives in 5 minutes, and maybe like you're laying in bed and you have period cramps and like no makeup on and your hair is a mess and you feel like a monster because it's like that day of the month, and you're just like, cool, my life sucks,
is
like
trash.
Yeah, right. But
I know,
on the flip side, who's gonna go?
That moment when we start talking at the same time, we're like, who is going to take over this moment? Well, you were talking about relationships. It's like no one's generally posting their petty fights that we all have with our families or our partners. And it's like, if they did, you'd probably feel really good about yourself and then like judge that person.
Like, or not even really good about yourself, just like it's relatable. Like you're just like, oh, same. Like I actually have posted a few times like mine and Tyler's like petty fights, and like those posts actually have really good engagement because people are like, oh, like this is real. And that's what I was going to say I do think that is the flip side, is within comparison there's like relatability, because like you could be comparing just means like looking at two things and seeing how they're the same or different. So you could, like I said, like see a body positivity post of a girl that has a similar body to me and I'm comparing myself to her and I feel good because I'm like, wow, other people look like me. Other people have the same, you know, and that feels good because I relate. Or you could see a post where you're like, this is completely different than my circumstance, my body, my relationship, my career, my timeline, and be like, now I don't feel good about myself. Yeah. So I do think that social media does have like positive power in that as well. Definitely. But we're just exposed to so many at the same time. And I think that brings us to a really important point of like who you follow, who you choose to follow on your social media platforms is so important. I know it's a little difficult with like TikTok and Reels are showing you to a lot of like people you don't follow, but I do think that like the content that you choose to consume and put your energy towards is what the algorithm's going to keep feeding you more of. And so if you're choosing to like seek out content that is positive and lifts you up and relatable, then you're going to feel better when you open up those apps, and just like having the awareness that when you start to not feel good, you close out the app. Like you go away from
Which
it,
I have,
you know?
I feel like I've done a lot better job at that recently. Like I can be on it for even 5 minutes and I feel like I'm just better at noticing this isn't making me better right now, or this is causing me negative thoughts. And I feel kind of proud that I've kind of cut into that cycle that's happening and like put it away and then chosen to like read my Kindle or do something different that has nothing to do with seeing other people's lives, which like you said is totally the highlight reel. And and I do think that that takes a sense of discipline to do that, because for some reason in our brain, like scrolling and rotting in bed, like watching all this stuff can just make us think that like it's not even self-care, but just, you know, oh, I'm unwinding for the night or just having some me time, but it's not even doing anything beneficial for you. And I feel like I'm getting stronger in that area of quickly noticing, how does this even feel in my body? Like I feel gross, or I feel like a discontentment taking over, which I'm not interested in like living in that place. So, yeah, putting it away much faster. And then just like, even I think asking myself, like, am I in a good place? Like, do I want to wake up and see other people's lives right now? Or can I do it when I'm in a better headspace? Because I like to see other people. Like I like to follow the people that I'm choosing to. So I think the awareness of where you're at in your day or in your month is a good question to ask yourself. But we don't always stop and do that. Like it's just so flippant that we open these apps and go down that trail, but we're not really like stopping to cut through that cycle that's happening of like negativity compounding on negativity that's happening in our brain, and the way that like that affects our mood and stuff. So I think the other thing that has gotten me with comparison is just the way that I want to consume materialistic things.
Same.
I'll convince myself that having what she's posting, like whatever home item or clothing item is going to give me, it's just like a cheap hit of dopamine. And I love buying it. I love the anticipation of it coming in the mail. But I do think if I'm not careful when I'm comparing myself to other people, I'll just fall into a trap of consumerism, which is just compounding, you know, like I'm comparing, I'm telling myself I'm unhappy with my closet. And then I have consumerism as a direct result of that weakness in my mind.
How was that? How was your month? Because you did a spending freeze for 30 days, like a couple months ago. What did you notice about your comparison in consumerism when scrolling social media during that 30-day spending freeze? Like, what were you feeling when you were like scrolling and seeing, shoot, that's a cute shirt and I can't buy it?
Yeah, I think just I noticed like discipline in myself. Like I'm not buying that and I'm not falling prey to that. And honestly, like I think we talked about this, but that 24 to 48 hour rule where you give yourself time and space from that item and it loses its shininess. That's definitely true. Like I can't tell you anything in January that I saw. I maybe added something to cart that I would come back to, but like I can't even tell you anything that I was like, I'm set on buying
Right.
that
It's
in
not like you
February.
like miss it right now or you're like,
No.
well, I'm really lacking from that thing I didn't buy
No.
in January.
So there was, again, if you've never done a spending freeze outside of just like your typical like food supplements,
Needs.
you know, needs. I didn't like not go out to eat or anything, but just materialistic items like makeup, skincare, like all that's just thrown at us all of the time and always like telling us like it's going to improve our life so drastically. And it's like, okay, we've got to be better than this. Like mentally, we have to overcome the marketing schemes that we see with materialistic items day in and day out. So
I am such an easy sell. Like I will just scroll on TikTok and like somebody tells me this is the best concealer I've ever used and I'm like done, bought. It's already done.
Yeah.
Like and yeah, it's dangerous in that way. Just like the amount of stuff we're exposed to.
Yeah.
Like so much stuff.
Whereas like imagine being, you know, raised without any social media. I don't know. I do picture the life of people where they're so obviously the extreme would be like very isolated or just like living with, you know, surrounded by your family or only the people you go to school with as a kid or whatever. But how Amish. Does that, or Amish, right? I guess there is a part of me that envies that because I feel like they have such a different view of like gratitude and contentment, which I'm totally projecting that it's like, oh, they're all so grateful for everything. Like, I don't know that to be true.
No, but no, there are studies on Amish communities of like that exact thing of like mental health and years that they live and all of that and technology.
I know.
Sucks sometimes.
I'm so you and I are always so torn on it. You know, like we love it, but we hate it. Yeah. We see the good, but we like experience the bad.
Okay, there's a couple of quotes I really love. I swear on my life, John Mayer, I know this was like one of those little like Instagram quotes and it said John Mayer said it, but I cannot find that proof of that anywhere. But so maybe just it was so random. But it was a quote I saw years and years ago. I've referenced it before on this podcast, and it's that we were never made to know this many people. We were never made to know this many people. Yeah. Maybe John Mayer said it, maybe he didn't. But like it's so true. Like our brains, our bodies, like we were not created to be inundated with mass amounts of people's lives at our fingertips 24/7, let alone like how people have access to us 24/7. You just posted on your story like about people like what's the real reason you don't text back? And like I hate when somebody texts me and they think that they deserve me to respond to them. Honestly, even that same day. Like it is not just because I have a phone attached to me, like, doesn't mean that anybody who has my phone number should get like energetic access to me whenever they want. Like, it's ridiculous. And it's that same thing with Instagram, but it's just like so many things. And there's this other quote, Ernest Klein. Anyway, I don't know, whatever. Human beings were never meant to participate in a worldwide social network comprised of billions of people. We were designed by evolution to be hunter-gatherers with the mental capacity to interact and socialize with other members of our tribe, a tribe made up of a few hundred people at most. Interacting with thousands or even millions of other people on a daily basis is basically way too much for us. Like, it's too much for us. And I think, yes. So obviously you and I know the positives of social media. Both of us have our entire career and businesses is built around social media. So obviously we love it in some capacity. And I actually really do love like coaching people in social media and all of that. But like, because we love it so much, it's like more important for us more than somebody that doesn't work in social media to like have that awareness and to understand those cues, those flags that come up. Like, in our bodies throughout our day, our self-awareness, to know when it's time to step away, to know, to recognize when you're just consuming content rather than focusing on creating content. And it's so important to like learn that about yourself entering into a business in social media, because you have to take care of yourself. Like, you have to take care of your mental health, and you have to have the awareness around your comparison. There's also, at least this is for me, and this isn't for maybe for everybody, but like, there could be like two incredibly successful women on social media who I follow in whatever industry, it doesn't matter, who share their success. A part of their job is to maybe share their success, share their wins. And like, woman A, for whatever reason, it makes me feel like a piece of shit. And woman B inspires the heck out of me and makes me want to like push forward and gives me drive and gives me motivation. That's okay. And I honestly don't need to sit there and like dissect to death the reason why. I just know I need to mute woman A for a little while and see what happens. And 10 out of 10 times when I mute somebody that I know I need to mute because I just feel worse about myself when I see their content, I feel better. Like, going on Instagram feels better. Going on TikTok feels better when I just unfollow or mute somebody because they're bringing me down. And that's totally okay. And I think it's one of the most powerful things you can do on social media is to mute or unfollow, to like give yourself a mental rest from the comparison that's bringing you down.
Well, you just have to ask yourself, do I want less stimulation? Do I want to be less affected? Because everyone's making that choice. And I think if we're being really dead honest with ourselves, I have to ask myself, do I want to sacrifice not following someone, or do I want to sacrifice this part of my life on a screen for my body and my mental health? I mean, some people would probably just say no to that. Like, they're not willing to make that choice. But to know the effects over time, to know your strengths and weaknesses, it's just so important to look inward and like actually ask yourself these honest questions. And I had looked up, this is turning into social media more than comparison, but it's fine. One of these articles says that the constant alert of new messages and updates on social media activates the human body's fight or flight limbic system in a way that resembles being on alert for predators, kind of going back to like our roots. This state of alertness causes stress and releases the stress hormone cortisol. So it's like on a very cellular level.
That would be the hormone you were saying in the beginning, like, oh, positive thoughts are going to release
maybe
dopamine.
That's what I was thinking.
Like, comparison, or like, and I know you said this is turning into a social media episode, but like, it's the most relevant access we have to comparison today. Like, it makes sense that most of it's through social media.
Right. So those negative things are spikes of cortisol, I guess, is what this thing says. And then this other study,
fight and flight.
Right. So then your nervous system is just, this is what like why our nervous systems can get shot, because it's just like at our fingertips, we're like we're feeding ourselves this. And this other study kind of summed up their results saying, the results showed that the amount of social media use assessed objectively by a screen time app was not only associated with higher inflammation at a single point, but increased levels of inflammation 5 weeks later. So our nervous system is at play, inflammation is at play, obviously cortisol. Like, I don't think we often take it outside of like mental health and like how does comparing your life
physically,
make you feel?
how is it affecting your body?
Right.
Intense.
So it's intense.
It's intense.
What do we do about that?
What do we do about that? No, really, I think it has to. Every person's different in a sense. Every person's the same in what you just said. That's literally biology. Like, like that. Like that's science. The fight or flight. And I really think it comes down to like a disciplined self-awareness of knowing what you need and checking in with yourself. For me, my mental health is always worse when I am consistently falling asleep with like doing things on my phone at the end of the day. Like it is not good. Right now, I'm sleeping with my phone in my room. There was like a big chunk of months recently that I was charging my phone in the living room, and I'm going to start doing that tonight as I say this out loud, because like it was I was falling asleep so much faster.
I noticed a difference in you when you did that. I really did.
It's a big difference, and as I am speaking out loud, I know that that's something I need to do.
So I'm going to hold you accountable.
You can hold me. You can be my accountability buddy in that. That's like really something. And then like getting in bed, because I usually get in bed or like I don't go to sleep super early, but I'll get in bed like, you know, I don't know, what time do you go to sleep? I probably go to sleep late.
But I was in bed by 9:45, 10, but like Will and I ended up probably talking till like 11.
Yeah, like we usually go to sleep around 11:30 midnight. But I'll get in bed at like 9:30, 10, and I'll watch a show or I'll read or I'll scroll. And the months where I was just getting in bed and my only options were to like read or like watch a show or hang out with Tyler, my mental health was better. So that's happening tonight. But that is something you can do, like not start your day with your phone immediately, because then in the morning I could pick up my phone right there and stay in bed. And the beginning of the day is your brain, I'm blanking on what it's called. Your brain is in a certain state within like the first 15 minutes when you wake up.
She's
it's actually
Googling.
Like I'm Googling. It's the best time. Delta waves. I knew it was something waves. Okay. When you first wake up in the morning, your brain switches from delta waves, which happen in your deep sleep state, to theta waves, which occur during a sort of daydreamy state. And then your brain moves to alpha waves when you're awake, but relaxed and not processing information. So this is literally a Forbes article of why you should stop checking your phone in the morning when you wake up, because because of literally the state that your brain is literally messing you up. Like it's messing you up big time. And it's actually, again, it's the best time to like manifest, goal set, meditate, because your brain is in this really impressionable state, like right when you wake up. Like one of the best things, it's like one of the most malleable times for your brain. So then you can imagine if you're checking your phone right when you wake up, you're priming your brain for distraction. And if you're seeing or reading something that's negative first thing in the morning, it's triggering that stress response, and it can put you on edge for the rest of the day because your brain is in that state. So it's like the worst thing that you can do is check your phone the second you wake up, which is
you have to untrain that desire to wake up and get a dopamine hit, because checking your phone when I go to see what texts I've missed, overnight, it's like, I mean, I did that this morning. I was probably on socials for 3 or 4 minutes until I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to be starting my day like this. And I put my phone back down. It's just like, I want to wake up slow. I want to cuddle my dogs and just give myself even 5 minutes of nothing. Like let my body and brain wake up slower before letting anything else tell me what I should be thinking about or influenced
Right.
by. Like,
Right.
it just comes down for me to making those hard decisions. That's like, do I want to be better? Do I want to get well in this area?
Right.
If
It's
I
so
don't,
crazy
I'm
too.
not going to
I'm
do it.
thinking about like the 50s, even though the 50s had its own set of cons, but like literally that wasn't an option. You like there wasn't a choice. What you just described of like waking up slow, grabbing your coffee, sitting outside, saying hello to your family, eating breakfast. Like that wasn't like a choice of many choices. That was life. That was that was what you did. And like we have the option to just get stuck in a zombie scroll or immediately start comparing ourselves and get a cortisol hit right in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, or right before we go to sleep. Like, team, are you going to do this with me? You have to sleep with your phone not in your room. We should probably do it together.
I'll do it. I need to do it.
Okay. I know. I'm like, anybody, like, if you're listening to this podcast and you want to be,
do it with us.
Let's do it with us. Let's like do this, like, not sleep with our phone in our room thing. Like, seriously.
And I have a hatch, so I have like a beautiful little alarm option to gently wake me up, which I love.
I do not have that hatch. So if you don't have a hatch and you're listening,
there's
you don't
off brands
to do this. I have, I mean, I guess I'll use my like Google Home for my alarm and stuff. But
I love my hatch.
I know. I almost bought one.
There's cheaper ones that are great. But
yeah.
And Will has said this too. He's like, I need to sleep with my phone on the other side of the room or something. But I find it easier to do with the person you are sleeping with as well. But regardless if they do it or not, it's possible. And I think I just have never set the habit where it's like part of my life. I've never gone like the 21, 28 days of setting the habit.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the things that comparison takes away from your life. Like, obviously we know the classic line, comparison is the thief of joy. But beyond that, I feel like it just robs me of more chances of dopamine hits from gratitude. Like when I did my spending freeze, I noticed that I looked at my closet different because I was like, I want to create outfits I've never created before. I have so many clothes. It's ridiculous that I'm just going to try to style things like I've never done and make them feel new and appreciate what I have because my giant closet is overflowing and I just simply don't need more. And so it made me turn on, I guess, like my closet on in a new way, look at it in a different way. And I became grateful for what I had. And it doesn't always have to be this like dramatic thing that creates more gratitude. But I think that thought of like, I don't have what she has, like, I don't have enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm not being enough. It robs your perspective and chances for gratitude, which I really feel like you and I have actually researched that. I know that's part of psychology, the way that gratitude actually shifts things in your brain, shifts your behavior. It's like, do you want to give yourself more chances at that? Or do you want to let other people's lives that you don't even know strip those things of you, you know?
Right. I think gratitude in like such a practical action step is like literally obviously just making a list of things that you're grateful for. But I'm thinking about the relationship example where like you see that reel of like this seemingly perfect relationship or like relationship advice. My husband's so great, they do XYZ. And then I look at Tyler and I'm like, why don't you bring me something every day in the morning before I get out of bed? Where like how different that feels versus like if I were to sit down and make a list of 10 ways that Tyler loves me so well and that like the things I love about him, the things that he does for me, the things that our relationship bring to my life, like even just saying that out loud, I'm like so filled with gratitude thinking of all the things I could write down versus that one stupid 7-second reel that made me feel like Tyler was a bad partner, which is like so dumb, but that can happen, you know? or you're like disappointed. Oh, why doesn't my partner do XYZ? And it's like everyone is so different. Like it doesn't even logically make sense to compare our lives to each other in that way. Like everybody's so different. And this is not a good thing to do, but I don't care. It's something that I do. Like sometimes when I catch myself in that comparison thing, and it's not to like put down someone else's relationship, but it's just to check myself. Like I'll be like, okay, Tyler, blah, 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 like doesn't do that. And then I'll think of like 3 things Tyler does do so well for me. And I'll genuinely be like, I wonder if that person's husband meets that need for her. Or maybe not, because everyone is different. Like, right? Like, I actually don't need Tyler to bring me coffee every single morning in bed to feel fulfilled in my relationship, you know? And like, that's great for you. And if you feel so loved by that, awesome. But like, the way that Tyler meets my emotional needs when I'm like having a really bad anxiety day, like that, you know what I mean? Like, it's just thinking about the appreciation and the gratitude for what you have, even if it's like a body image thing and you're like comparing yourself, like feeling like gratitude on your body of like what you're able to do, that if you're like able to move and take a walk that day, like whatever it is, like, you know, just anything where you can focus on the positive things that you have in your life, because they're there. There's so many positive things in your life. And if you're focusing on the negative, that's what you're going to see. Focus goes where energy flows where focus goes, right?
Yeah.
So like if you are looking at the negative, you're going to find the negative.
Yep.
Period. If you are looking at the positive, you're going to find the positive, period, because both exist. There is dark and light in everything. Like there is not one thing that is inherently good or bad, black or white, dark or light. Everything has a balance of something. And if you are focusing on the bad, the dark, the negative, you will find it every single time. And if you're focusing on the good, the light, the positive, you will find it every single time. So like, what do you want to find? What do you want to look for and find and feel?
That was so good. You just spit fire. Well, and I was just going to say, the people that you're around who are positive or negative, like, you know what you're attracted to. Like there's parts of me when I'm super down and negative and I want to commiserate with other people. But I know I want to surround myself with people who are more positive, more grateful, have more perspective in their life, that build me up, because I'm drawn to that. And like, hello, Rain. And when you're thinking all the negative thoughts, like you'll find yourself drawn to those type of people that keep you down and just flood you with negative thoughts and comparison. And I feel like a lot of anger can come out. I don't know. I think you're totally right. Like when you're so hyper focused on negativity because of comparison or because of whatever, you'll look around and look for that to be met with someone else who maybe feels the same thing, and that can just be such a dangerous trap that you stay in. I've felt that in work for sure. In the last probably 6 months, one of the things I've been trying to do is take myself out of a place of negativity and into a place of a lot of positive thinking and positive action, instead of staying like stuck and comparing like what I don't have to what I really want to have. It's very easy, I think, as creatives, entrepreneurs, like you are always comparing where someone else is in their business. And that's a sticky situation if you're not really conscious, because again, it could be paycheck or types of work that people get. You know, in the photo world, it was always like, oh, like their job just looks so much more fulfilling, or like they're shooting in the coolest places, or this person is making what I wish I made. And what that does is keep you kind of in this hamster wheel of negativity, and you're not working from a place of inspiration and creativity. You're working from those negative thoughts. You're working from self-doubt. And I have been working actively, I would say since like January, probably, to pull myself out of that and choose to work from a place of belief, work from a place of excitement and passion, and kind of put my head down and stop looking left and right, stop comparing, and create more than I consume. Because when I'm consuming more than I create, I'm robbing myself of the chance to work out of those places of like joy and belief out of myself, passion for the things that I'm doing. And that's really hard work. Like, it's uncomfortable work because our brains are always, happy to stay in the negative, but it takes intention. And I will say, like, once I got the momentum going, like, I hit a different flow state with work right now where I'm like, I'm excited. I'm making more creative moves. I'm being more intentional. And I'm seeing the results of that. And I just started that in January. Like, it's only April 2nd or 3rd right now. Like, so.
And something in your life didn't happen to you. Flow state didn't happen to you. You created it yourself. And in that same way, with comparison or feeling trapped or feeling down, burnt out, anxious, angry, disconnected when you're scrolling Instagram, like, it's not that Instagram or TikTok is going to all of a sudden start providing you content that makes you feel magical and not stress or not comparison. It's you. It starts with you, and you have to create the life that you want. As cheesy as that sounds, it's so true. Like, you have to create that. Like, if you're comparing yourself in work, like you said you were, like, you've been doing so much mindset work around that. And like, did the people you were comparing yourselves to change and start making less money or have less success and now you feel better?
Never.
No. It was you. Like, you created your own momentum. You did opposite action. Like, you've been doing that, and now look, and like, you've like brought yourself out of that like comparison stuck. Like, it was all, you're in control of that. And I think comparison can make us feel like we're not in control. Life is circumstantial. Her life's better. My life's not as good. And it makes it stuck and stagnant, when actually we all have the power to control our own minds and bring ourselves out of that and enter back into creative flow state, or enter into gratitude and actually literally shift what we're feeling and shift our mental health.
Yeah, definitely. It's so encouraging to, I mean, I know this is like very, very simple to say, but it's really encouraging to put in the work and like see the change happen that I know I needed, or that I know is possible. I kind of want to normalize, like, ebbs and flows are just so freaking common in everything, and especially like entrepreneurship, but it's really, really rewarding. And I feel like we've talked about this, I don't know what episode, but it is a form of building trust with myself. I'm going to look back and I'm going to remind myself what I did to create my own momentum, create new creativity, bouts of inspiration. And because I'm doing the work and I'm seeing the reward, my brain is going to remember this. It's like a new, neural pathway. And we always nerd out on this because we just think it's so cool. But when you sleep with your phone outside your room for 21 days and you feel the difference, we are going to build trust with ourselves that, like, we love how we feel, and that's a better decision, and we want to keep doing that. And those things compound on themselves. And I feel like people just honestly don't want to put in the hard work, because it's so much more comfortable to scroll in bed and wake up and have it right there. Like, it feels good, but
it's like, choose your hard. Like, it feels good. It doesn't actually feel good. It like,
right.
Quote,
it's like
unquote. Like, and it is that thing, like, choose your hard. Like, okay, it's hard to sleep with my phone outside of my room. Well, it's also hard to feel like shit because I got no sleep because I was scrolling, and I woke up with my mental health is in the shitter. Like,
yes. Also, I had to call myself out. I do this. I say quote unquote instead of quote unquote. And I just caught myself doing that.
Quote unquote. Well, you can't really tell. And also, I think I say that too, because I didn't even know that was the correct saying.
No, when you see it like written,
unquote.
Yeah, because you put the quotation marks at the beginning and then you put the unquote, I don't know, the ending of the quotation.
Wait.
Mark. What's Google say?
No. It's a thing.
Which one?
Yeah. Quote unquote.
Oh, really? I thought it was always quote unquote.
Wait, it's both. Wait, the internet also doesn't know.
Okay, great.
Drop
a comment.
Because people are like, what does quote unquote mean? That's what I say. And I think it's, nobody knows. The good news is also everyone else is confused.
Perfect.
And the other good news is you could say either one and they sound the same.
Well, I just had to call myself out. Like, you know, when you learn something when you're like late 20s, 30s, like, oh, I didn't even know that was that.
But don't you use it like you'll say quote and then you'll say the quote and then you say unquote?
No, I never do that.
Oh, okay. You say quote unquote and then you say the quote.
I don't know.
Because I say quote unquote. And in my mind, what I mean is like verbatim. This is literally what they said, like quote unquote, like this is a real quote. That's what I think I'm saying when I say quote unquote.
It's becoming a word that doesn't sound real to me anymore.
Quote unquote.
Anyways.
Okay. That was a great conversation. And I want everyone to join us with sleeping with your phone outside of your room.
I do too. Strength in numbers. Like, please join us and report back how good you feel in 2 weeks or tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Seriously. We love you guys.
Love this.
I'm going to listen to that episode. I need that episode. Like,
same. I love that for us.
Yeah, I love that for us. Okay, you guys. Wait, we have something. I'm going to do something cute.
What?
I want to read the last review that we got on Apple Podcast.
Why am I not reading these? And you are, and I forget to.
No, it was the same one. We only have 2. It's the same one.
We need more reviews, please.
Yeah, it's the same one. And our friend Jess left us a review. And you guys, I don't think you know how happy we get with reviews. Shout out Jess. She's one of our loyal listeners. We love you. She said, okay, I adore this podcast. Carissa and Ashton have so many good nuggets. When I listen, I feel like I'm getting coffee with a friend. Both are so well spoken and are able to dig into the deep stuff, which leads to such a beautiful conversation. I've enjoyed each episode and look forward to the next. You girls are the coolest. That literally is so sweet. Actually, I'm literally going to Venmo you $5, Jess. Maybe we should start doing that. Just picking people to buy coffee for who leave reviews. That would be so
$6.50 inflation.
$6.57. Maybe we'll Venmo you $8.
Let us know if you get a black coffee and we'll send you $5.
Or a latte. No, I actually am. I'm gonna Venmo Jess after this because
cute.
I don't think it's so lovely to hear feedback truly from you guys.
Really
and you cannot leave reviews written reviews on Spotify. You can rate stars, but on Apple Podcasts you can actually rate stars and you can write a review, and it's so lovely, and it helps us build the podcast, get more people that you want on here. We have some exciting guests in the pipeline that we feel. Yeah. So if you are listening and like us in this conversation, rate us everywhere. It would make us so happy.
Yes. We do love you guys.
If you don't like us, if you don't like us, well, if you don't like us, I don't know why you're here right now at the end of this episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you're just a hater. But don't rate us if you don't like us, because that's mean. But truly, I don't know why you're here at the end of 53 minutes if you don't like us. So, anywho, we like you.
Love ya.
We like you guys. Love you. See you next week. Bye.